Up next, we have another powerhouse voice in artificial intelligence, bringing insight, innovation, and real-world impact. This speaker will talk about from manual to automated, how I built a podcast system that runs without me. Choma Kende is a systems strategist, AI consultant, and founder of Proverbs 31 Business Systems, where she helps service-based women entrepreneurs build profitable businesses without burnout. With a passion for faith-aligned strategy and smart automation, she teaches women how to move from overwhelmed to organized growth using simple systems, AI tools, and structured foundations. Choma is also the host of the Becoming the Proverbs 31 Woman podcast, highlighting women balancing purpose, career, and entrepreneurship while building businesses designed to run with clarity, confidence, and excellence. Please welcome Choma Kende. Drop your welcomes in the comments and join me in giving a big AI Power Circle welcome to our next speaker.
Thank you so much. Thanks so much for that powerful introduction. Before I get started, I just wanted to thank the Little Sisters for giving us this platform to be able to present on this platform. I don't take it lightly, and I'm just so happy to be on this, to be presenting. And also give it up for my co-speakers that have gone, Jessica, Jen, and Dawn. That was some powerful insights and gems that they have been dropping. Can everybody put a 1 in the chat if they can hear me? I just don't want to be talking if this. Can you put a 1 in the chat? Awesome.
Sound fabulous.
All right. Thank you. Sound check. 1, 2, 1, 2. We all good. So let's get right into it. So I'm going to be speaking to you today of a system that I built. It's one of the systems that I built. I'm not showing you how to start a podcast, but I'm going to show you a system that I use in my podcast that runs without me. It's my built to run system framework is what I'm going to be showing you. And in this system, I saved 5 hours on this system. Can somebody put 5 in the chat? I know with 5 hours, I can use it to, strategize with my Lord and Savior Jesus Christ on this business. I could use 5 hours to spend with my kids. I could use 5 hours. Can you tell me one thing you could use 5 hours to do? Because I know time is money, and I know 5 hours is a lot of time a week. 5 hours a week. That's what I save with this system. Sleep. Oh, yes. And we could use 5 hours of sleep. What we're doing for time. That is honestly just time is money. And this is the system that I use. So if you're ready to go to see this system, put 1 in the chat. If you're ready to see how I built this system, put 1 in the chat. Are we ready? Ready, set, let's go. So disclaimer, I know everyone has seen this. This is my intellectual property and not the AI Insight Summit. So we're going to move on from that. And I'm just going to talk a little bit about myself. As you see, I'm Choma Kende. I'm also known as Special Agent Chi. Special Agent Chi is my podcast name. And on that podcast, I have the privilege of interviewing businesswomen who are doing, faith-based businesswomen who are just doing it based in the qualities of the Proverbs 31 woman qualities is what it is. And then I'm a founder of the Proverbs 31 Business Systems. And then I'm also an AI certified consultant. And some of the clients we serve are mostly service-based businesses like, cleaning services, event planners, podcasters, and nonprofits is usually what we serve. And we're just, helping them of just different ways that they can save time in terms of like we do an audit just to see like the times that they can save in saving times in their business. So that's what we do in a nutshell with a business. And then I have a built to run accelerator program. And in this program, it's an 8-week, no joke program. It's boot camp style. It's not for the week. It's a boot camp system where we're execute. Someone drop execute in the chat. Execute is what we're doing in this. We're executing in terms of just not playing like, oh, we're executing by the end of the 8 weeks, we are executing systems that are built to run without us. We're implementing systems that are automated to be built. We're not playing with this program. That's what I'm saying. Not everybody joins this program, but it's a program where if you're all about execution and you just want to, you're done with the excuses, this program is for you. And I said it's boot camp style. So it's no excuses. We don't tolerate excuses in this program. And the one thing I'm proud of is I'm an author, guys. I recently became an author. I was able to release my book called Built to Run, a guide of running a business without burnout. And when I released it on pre-order, it was top number one new release on Amazon, which I'm proud of. I give all glory to God for doing that book. And this book, when I wrote this book, this was from a personal space. I used to have run a cleaning business. This was one of my businesses was a cleaning business. And that cleaning business, everything depended on me. It depended on me to I was the scheduler. I was the one answering the calls. I was the one doing payroll. It just depended on me with everything. And the one thing that broke the camel's back with this business was when I lost my mom about a year ago. And so I'm originally from Nigeria. And I live in the States, but we had to bury my mom in Nigeria. And so the week that I was going to bury my mom in Nigeria, I shut down everything in that business. The only thing I kept running in that business was my reoccurring clients for that business. And so when I went to Nigeria, the network, wasn't as good. I think the only thing that was working was like my WhatsApp was working. And while I was there, instead of grieving my mom, I was busy thinking about my one of my staff got into an accident. And the only way she could contact me was through WhatsApp to tell me that she got into an accident. But the calling system that I used for my business, because of the network that I had, I couldn't get in contact with the customer during that time. And I think that what ended up happening is I gave my staff the customer's number, which is not usually our process, but I ended up giving her the number to call the customer. But this book was just built on that. It's just the systems. That was the camel's back that broke it is how can we just build systems that run without us? So that's what this book came from. And then we have our Built to Lead Academy and this is more of our giving back. This is for free, where we serve girls between the ages of 17 and we teach them how do you build a business. I think the one workshop where we did is we went from start to finish. How do you build a business? We made them like, hey, you create your LLC. You do this. We went step by step. And one thing I'm so, 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 so proud of is one of the girls from that launched her business. I think it was like a lip gloss business that she was able to do from that program. And we do, amongst many things in teaching AI and different things, but it's just amazing to lead our young generation and making them know that it's possible to be business owners. And then the last thing I would just talk about is we are part of usually from the proceeds of part of our business goes to ending period poverty. You'll be amazed of just how people can't afford certain feminine products. So that's another thing our business does is we give back in terms of the community, in terms of just educating girls of, how to, when you have your period at a young age, what to do. And then we also did donate feminine products to, women's shelters and just impacting the community in general. So enough of what we do. Let's get into the main session for today. So today I'm going to be showing you, again, I said the system that I use in my podcast business of how I built, it was a manual process. So basically it was a process where when we have guests, it was like our intake process. When we have guests, we usually, we'll do that intake process and we'll go through. So I'm going to go through that process of how we did that, the before of how we did it, and then how I implemented the system, and then the after of how that looked like. So is everybody ready to see my framework in process? Hit run in the chat for me. Are you guys ready? All right. I'm seeing run. Okay, good. Thank you. All right. Ready, set, and let's go right into it. So this is our manual process. You can see it started off, I would submit, it was a Google form is what it started off. And once the guest would submit the Google form, it then depended on me to then put in the calendar entry and do the Zoom link. And then it depended on me then to send an email with the calendar and the Zoom link and then everything that's in there. And then it depended on me then to remember a day before whenever they booked, it depended on me to then manually send an email to remind them like, hey, you have an interview tomorrow. And then it depended on me again to then send a reminder link an hour before their thing. And then it depended on me to send a thank you for them. So everything was just dependent on me with this manual process. I don't know if now you can just see the problem with that. Because with memory, sometimes, and this was an honest situation that happened, is for one of them, because I remember with the process, it's supposed to happen a day before you then send it to the guest. I forgot to send it that day before. And I think I was like, oh, shoot, I forgot. And then I'm now sending it. So it's like, it's dependent on me. And then also in the beginning, when we started this intake process, in the beginning it was cool, but then we got an influx of like, of the forms, and that started came time draining. It's like, and it was just depending on me to just manage all this, and it just was not scalable. And I documented this. This cost me, like I said, 5 hours a week of my time. And I calculated in a year, that is 260 hours in a year. And then I calculated in terms of just with cost and everything, that's $15,000 a year. Who could use $15,000? Put me in the chat. I could use $15,000. That is $15,000 I lost. Like if we calculate everything, that's like time and money. When we say time is money, look at the stats. This is time is money with this manual process that I was doing. It just wasn't making sense for me and putting my hands that's dependent on me for this. So let's go to my run framework. Everybody say reveal, unify, normalize. Reveal, unify, normalize was my run framework, is what I use in terms of building this system that helped run without me. So let's go with the first one, run. So reveal, what is that repetitive system that you have? That repetitive task that's every time, twice a week. In this case, was this podcast process. It required me, I'm not saying every day was like a thing that we got the intake every day, but I did it on average. If it was a performance I was performing like 5 times a week. If that's a repetitive task, what is that one thing? Identify that. Next, why don't you identify what's the bottleneck? What's the thing that's keeping the process and system going? And whatever dependency. In this case, it was me. It depended on me to remember to send it. It was my memory, or even if, I would forget to put it on a timer, is that even going to, was I able to do that? So you see, everything in this system was dependent on me to be able to make this process going. So identify how that repetitive task, what is that bottleneck and the dependency for you? And then the next one is my unify. In this case, I then documented, like in terms of like document that process, go from start to finish. You saw how I laid it out. It's like we filled out the Google form, we went and we had the reminder. It was that sequence. What are the triggers? Like, does it trigger from form formation to do this? What's the sequence? The sequence was, form submission to email to reminder to, sending this document. And like I said, this framework can work for any system that you see is repetitive. So what is that framework? What is that process? And then clarify, just make sure you're not leaving anything like, any deviation from this, from the process. The next step, so this is the normalizing with AI is what I did. So from the AI, I was then able to create, instead of using the Google form, I was then able to put my form in Go High Level. And with Go High Level, I was then able to add that to, that way they're able to click with the calendar, and then the Zoom link is already attached to my calendar with that. And then that automatically generated a Zoom link. And then once they book that, it automatically, guess what? Didn't depend on me to send the email. It didn't depend on me then to a day before send that email to remind them. And it didn't depend on me to then send an hour before that reminder again. And then it didn't depend on me to send the thank you note. I didn't touch anything with this. Hands off. Everything automated. I don't have to send, like it's just hands off. The only thing I have to do is just send the link. And even with that, honestly, with that process of just sending the link, the only reason why I would send them, because our podcast link is exclusive, so it's not on our website. If this was on the website, it would just be a matter of now of just making everything automated, where it's just they're just going to the website to fill this out. So everything is now automated. Nothing. It's running without me. Thank you, run. I like that, Danielle. It's running without me. And then even with that, as you go, then you can then use AI to even optimize this process even further. So as you know, you're putting information like, guests filling out information and their dates is then able to see like what is the optimal time in terms of like guests are being filled in terms of the interview. So then I could see, okay, this is the time that then you're now using this for analysis for the future. You're seeing your KPIs like, okay, what's the optimal time I can now book guests? What's the messaging? In the form, when we take it, we get information of, the guests because different guests put, information about themselves. AI can then personalize that guest profile. And then the smart sequences like the automation, we can even see things that could even be, more automated as we add different things, as we add different workflows. You're then able to optimize the things. You're then able to scale and do this. Like I said, with this process, you're then able to just even scale your business further and just see things that you could do better in that process. So with this, I saved 5 hours a week and zero. Everybody put zero in the chat. Zero reminders. This is a one pain point for me because it was like that memory, trying to remember all that was just too much. It was depending on me to do all that. I have other things to worry about. I have kids, husband, and everything to worry about. Zero reminders. Zero. And then it was 100% consistency. It didn't have to be like, oh, coulda, it was send it today. It was consistent the whole time. It was send it the whole time was consistent. So what is your next step? Can you think of a process, a repetitive process? Just identify what that repetitive process is. Document it like completely in terms of just remember how we went through in terms of the workflow of everything. Document that completely and then move it into your CRM. It could be Grow High Level, whatever CRM that you can use, where you're able to then document and see how you can automate that process. And then just let AI do the job and just enhance everything. Let it run, let it run, let it just run without you touching anything. So I appreciate you guys for your time. Thank you for listening to me. If you want to get how a personalized saved hours a week AI prompt, please scan the QR code. And then also I have my free P31 business readiness assessment that you can take so that way we can help you see how your business is ready for AI. So thank you so much for your time. Appreciate it.
All right. Congratulations. Come on and give Chema some love. Give her some love in the chat. She was amazing talking about how we can save 5 hours a week, 5 hours a week. And I think Pam was with me when she's like, sleep. Yeah. I like to sleep, not 5 hours all at one time, but you know what? Some extra sleep would be fabulous. So thank you so much. So I have a question for you, sister. My question for you, leave your code up just for a second. Sure. Leave it up for just a second. Okay. But my question to you is, how has it been, your experience in the Power Circle? Tell me about that experience.
Oh my goodness. My experience with the Power Circle has been amazing. I mean, talk about the one thing for me is community. The reason why, and I'll just back up, the reason why, honestly, when I released my book and it was #1 was because of the Power Circle. We support, and we support they bought my book, and that's why I reached #1 so quickly. When I first released it, that's the one reason, honest to God, that I was able to get #1 new release.